I'm Jen Burson, founder and president of Generation PR and creator of Generation Academy and the Powerhouse Pros community. You might be watching on the Powerhouse Pros group, and if you're not, go ahead on Facebook and search Powerhouse Pros. It is a small community of PR professionals that is the friendliest, most supportive, collaborative place for PR pros on the internet. And it was my hope and my goal to create a community of people like me who are just looking for help and support in running their businesses. And it is a group of people that are all like open and willing to help, collaborate, share resources, give recommendations, advice, review your pitches, your proposals. It's just like a very, very helpful, awesome group. Today's topic is ways that we as PR pros can support journalists, so media professionals, comms pros. We are noticing, and part of the reason why our job is different than maybe when we started, is that there's a lot of shifts in the media landscape. This has been the talk the entire time I've been, doing this career. We are offering our journalist friends support as their comms partners, right? We have a lot of industry shifts. We're going to hold their hand and guide them. We're going to hold each other's hands and guide us through these changes. So it's been really frustrating, but there have been a lot of layoffs, nonstop layoffs across journalism, different types of media. And it seems like pretty much every niche has been affected by layoffs and downsizing and newsrooms shutting down. I mean, we saw this years ago with fact-checking kind of going by the wayside. And it doesn't matter really how established a publication is. I mean, you sometimes think like, oh, this heritage publication will be here forever. It's been around forever. It'll continue to be here. It seems like that's no longer the case because major companies, major publishers, and outlets like Hearst and Bloomberg, Insider, Bustle, they've all undergone massive layoffs recently. And smaller newsrooms mean more work for those in-house media contacts and more delays for freelancers that are trying to bridge that gap. And of course, now we see with the writer strike for the writers union, this huge threat of AI that's on top of all of it is bringing more unknowns and trouble for the journalism industry. And so as PR professionals, as comms partners to our media contacts, it's our job to adapt to these changes and support our contacts along the way. So I want to share some strategies that can kind of get you thinking. You know, you've worked hard to make these relationships. You want to preserve these contacts. You want to show support because we're kind of all in this together. So I have strategies for showing your media contacts that you're in their corner, no matter what happens in journalism. So just a quick update, like this is what's going on in newsrooms. They've always been hectic places, but they are now filled with like stressed out, overworked writers. They're scared, they're stressed out. They're on edge more than ever before. You know, we've got these widespread layoffs that are always threatening their comfort and stability in their work. When layoffs happen, you have these overworked journalists that are picking up the slack as their colleagues leave. And then, of course, they worry that they're next on the chopping block. And we are also noticing that newsrooms and not necessarily just newsrooms, but publications converting content seems like it's a lot more delayed. So we used to have these traditional long lead, short lead, print versus digital or TV. But it seems like even our short lead content is experiencing delays. Edits aren't happening as quickly as normal, taking longer for freelancers to get their pieces published or for in-house coverage to go live. And it used to be that a laid-off journalist or a journalist that just wanted to change would go freelance. And that's not the go-to path anymore. These rates for freelancing keep dropping, and more writers are entering that freelancing market, and so it's not as, it was never, I would say, lucrative, but it's not as desirable as it used to be, because there's just so many people that are now trying to get freelance work. So it's not sustainable long term, and some of your contacts, they might transition into non-writing careers as time goes on. We just got an email yesterday that one of our wonderful freelance writers, Lindsay Tiger, is now pivoting away from freelancing and starting a digital marketing agency with a colleague. And we're all so happy for Lindsay. She is a new mom, and she, what happens when you become a mom is you feel this pull away from something that is stressful and uncertain, and you want to spend more time with your baby. And so we're really happy that she has made that shift, but we're going to be seeing a lot more of that. So this is also in the wake of AI. We also see that instead of copy editors, publications are using AI to make quick work of edits. Maybe they're crafting those shorter pieces with AI that might have gone to freelancers in the past. So it is a real pivot point right now. So we want to support our media contacts in a few ways. Number one, we want to lead with empathy. They're going through a lot right now. Our editor contacts, our journalist friends, the best thing that you can do is lead with empathy anytime you connect. They are maybe taking on additional beats to cover for coworkers that have been laid off. They might be dealing with a need for more stories in the beats that they're already working in. Freelancers might be searching for new assignments, as newsrooms have backups that delay the publishing and then therefore the payment for pieces that have already been submitted. So we know our job is to connect with the media and work together to tell stories and connect with audiences. So when you lead with empathy, you reinforce your partnership by showing them true support amidst the chaos. Like, you can be very understanding when a contact takes maybe a little longer to respond to your pitches or your follow-up emails. They're probably already feeling like stress and on edge from balancing deadlines, playing catch up, and the last thing they need is another 3 follow-up emails in their inbox. So, have some empathy and understanding for what they're experiencing with these shifts. And if your contact is directly affected by layoffs, reach out to them over email if you happen to know either a personal email or they're still at the publication, or sometimes these freelancers have their own email. And you can also connect on social and just offer your support. Ask if there's anything you can do to help. A lot of times journalists might be looking for additional side work, maybe supporting you and your agency, maybe ghostwriting articles or thought leadership for your clients. You never know. And this is a way to strengthen those relationships. Number 2 is be a true resource for your contacts. So either they've been laid off or their workload is kind of doubled or, increased in the aftermath. Be supportive and be a sincere resource for them. So if you're aware of any freelancing opportunities, open positions that might be a good fit for your contact, send them their way. Send those opportunities their way post-layoff. In-house experts are really valuable to the media, so make sure your media contacts know all of the experts that you're connected to. So when reaching out for expert interviews, include the expert's bio, the credentials, their availability, so that you are giving them quick access to something that will save them time and give them a solid resource that'll shore up the content they're working on. Because AI is not going to offer expert commentary. That's one thing we know that AI is not replacing. You can also offer yourself as a credible, responsible expert in your niche, and then follow through. Make sure that if your contact reaches out for assistance, either they need like an additional stat or extra support for a story or an additional expert that can weigh in on a topic, respond, like always, just respond promptly, give thorough, accurate information so they're not waiting on you, they're not having to follow up with additional information. Show that you are a responsible PR partner that they can count on. Big premise inside the Pitch Lab, but goes without saying. Even if your contact leaves a publication, they're either freelance or they're not moving forward in your niche, that's not to say you write them off. You never part ways with somebody in a negative outcome. We always want to have good transitions, and just know that you want to maintain these relationships. So continue to be a responsible and reliable, very fast to respond PR partner that they can count on. And the more you help out these media contacts, the more they'll see you as a true collaborative partner that they can lean on during hard times. And you never know what comes of it. You never know what ideas come together or ways that you can help each other out. Number 3, focus on maintaining media relationships outside of the newsroom. Your relationship with a media contact, it doesn't end, like I said, when they leave their publication, either if it's involuntary or they decide to move on their own. Don't just reach out to your contacts when you have a story idea, when you want something. It's about giving before you ask to take anything. So you want to build media relationships that are going to stay strong despite industry shifts, despite job moves. That's real relationships. It's not just like, what can you do for me? What can I do for you? It is, I am here for you as a resource, as a partner, a collaborator, a sounding board if you need it. Stay in touch with these media contacts as they transition from job to job, whether they're just moving publications or they're shifting to freelance, or maybe they're changing careers altogether. Catch up with them over coffee if they're still local, or do a virtual check-in. Stronger relationships can lead to better, more impactful press coverage when your contact lands back on their feet. Maybe they have some ideas for you about what's happening internally in the wake of their job transition, and they can be a helpful resource for you. Number 4 is PR and media pros should make life easier for journalists. Just make their lives a little easier. You already know your pitches need to be targeted, relevant, timely, and completely personalized to that journalist, that publication, and the beat that you're pitching. And anything you send that's irrelevant, it just takes up space. It is going to frustrate them, annoy them. It'll sour those relationships. Their days are really hectic. They're full of challenges. They don't need to waste valuable time reading pitches that are not a good fit, that aren't worth a story. Make pitching as frictionless as possible. You are the well-oiled machine. You are responsible, reliable, targeted. You know what they're up to, and you're going to present useful ideas, useful resources, on target ideas for them. So provide as much information as possible when you're sending out a pitch, including any multimedia, like if you have a link to a sizzle reel, or you have a link to show how something is used to demonstrate how a product is used, or you have a study with hard data, or any additional documents like a one sheet or ingredients list or retailer's price point. You want to reach out far in advance of a product launch. This is my role, is product PR. So if you have a product launch, sometimes you get enough runway, sometimes you don't, but you want to reach out in advance so that you can account for these timelines that are shifting, these newsroom delays, things that are going to make that launch content that they're covering hopefully align with when the launch is happening. You're giving them full, complete, accurate information, access to a sample if you have the ability to offer it, so they can get their content, their idea pulled together in time for when the launch is actually happening. Just think of their timelines. You also, number 5, want to be flexible with your pitches. Layoffs don't care. if your contact was in the middle of writing a major piece about your client, or they just received a stellar pitch that would be perfect for their audience, and then boom, not going to happen. When you're suddenly left with a pitch in limbo, it is our job to adapt. So first thing first, it's about the relationship. That's more important than the pitch. And if your contact gets laid off in the middle of that writing process, be a supportive partner before asking what's going to happen with the piece they were writing. And then same goes for an interview. And if a new journalist takes over the contact's workload post-layoff, introduce yourself. Maybe you ask that contact, is anybody kind of going to be picking up where you left off? And maybe they give you a name. Introduce yourself. You might need to resend your pitch, or you may have to reschedule an interview with the new contact. Maybe you resend the responses to their questions. If your pitch wasn't an exclusive and the original publication is dropping it entirely, shift gears. Reach out to your contact. They may be able to cover it as a freelancer, or if they have a new gig somewhere that they're going, that they're still covering that same beat. Your next step is to pitch the story to someone else, another contact at a different publication that is, the same, if it's not an exclusive and you can offer that up. Make sure to rework your pitch, tailor it to that new contact, their beat, that outlet, their audience, so that it's targeted and not just copy paste, spray and pray. And the last tip I have for you is keep up on social. Go follow your media contacts on social. You should already have a media contacts kind of following list for social, but as they move publications or kind of pave their own way in the industry, offering their services up in other ways, or like Lindsay's doing, creating a marketing agency. It's like a content creation agency. It's more important than ever to kind of meet them where they are. So we see X, formerly Twitter, kind of losing steam among the media. And many journalists and editors making that switch over to LinkedIn with their PR partners and their readers over there able to connect with them so they can publish content like blog posts over on LinkedIn and still kind of exercise that journalistic muscle, stay connected on LinkedIn, offer support, send a private message over there, just kind of see what the next move is for them, acknowledge it, congratulate them on it. The other tip we love Substack. We have a lot of wonderful journalists on Substack that are sharing incredible insights. Their paid content is really good. It's not expensive. We have inside the Pitch Lab an entire list of the journalists that we recommend following on Substack. It is a crucial place to connect with journalists moving forward. They're going to have their voice. They can have their complete and uncensored voice. They don't have to, like, sometimes journalists will have to kind of, for journalistic integrity, just be neutral. Substack is their own thoughts, opinions. They don't have to kind of cater to anyone. So it's very interesting, and those insights are really informative and helpful for us as PR pros. We want them to keep their readership, so we're going to follow along, and the income. So if you subscribe to their paid content, that's also money in their pocket for those insights. So definitely consider it a very valuable business expense to subscribe to paid Substacks. And it's a great way for them to kind of supplement income kind of between assignments. And this is also, we want to follow on social because journalists don't always have time to notify all of their contacts post-layoff and announce the news and send emails about how to connect with them. So they might share it and announce on socials. And it's yet another reason to connect with them online. They may take to their pages, announce changes in their workload, shifts in their beat, any kind of new columns that they're covering, or the kind of work that they're seeking. And you can see that there and offer to be a supportive partner to them. This is all about the idea of partnership it's a collaboration. We are all impacted by changes in the media landscape, AI coming into play, all the things. So just know that you are able to come in and support, and it doesn't mean the end of the relationship. It's an evolution, and you are going to be a partner to them like they have been to you, and those recommendations will help you do that.